Hello, good afternoon, you wonderful internet people, and welcome back to our fourth game today in this afternoon's quarterfinals of the Five Nation Roller Derby playoffs in here at very warm Sheffield.
Yes, it is very warm. Reports tell us that outside it's 32 and inside probably around the temperature of the sun.
Oh, well, I'm McGee, and you just heard the wonderful voice of
Lyd Vicious. Sorry, I had to think for a second there. Who am I today? Yes. Lyd Vicious, yes.
So we'll be your wonderful hosts for this fourth game. We'll have a quick rundown of the two teams we're playing. You might be able to make it out a little bit, but we do have London Battersea Power versus Wiltshire Roller Derby.
Playing for London Battersea Power, we've got 004 Tenacious, 04 Major Vengeance, 088 Jessosaurus, 150 Snatch, 19 Medusa, 212 Beastie Noise, 240 Max Voltage, 26 Iron Bars, 31 Over the Painbow, 313 Emery of the State, 33 Lena Clockyer, 355 Pandemonium. Number 4 is Max, 49 is Rogue Fun, number 5 Block Nez Monster, 53 Dr. Jean Knockout, 540 Cyclone, 72 Lil Easy, 8 Palmageddon, and 90 is Elsie Dagger.
And in the sparkly green, we have Wiltshire Roller Derby, starting with 00 Lou Renegade, 13 Ginge, 1550 Reckless, 17 Swift, 19 Be Brutal, 1990 is Phil, 249 Serenity, 477 Ursa Broom, 53 Escapade, 58 Diamond Dodge, 666 Hanzolo, 702 is 702.
Yep.
That caught me off guard. 78 is Linsane, 786 is Question Mark, 808 is Bookworm, and I've also been politely told to do a massive shout out to Lady T, who should be playing today, but they did their ACL in, so we're really sorry you can't make it. We hope you're checking out the action and cheering on your teammates from home.
That's it. Liam Neeson specifically says, say something nice. So there we go, we've done that.
Perfectly in time there as we begin our first jam. Decked in black at the back is Max for London.
And Law Renegade for Wiltshire.
Max has just found a space through the front, trying to go down the inside edge, and makes it out and becomes your first lead jammer of the game.
They do. It was fighty, though, wasn't it? There's been a sneaky pivot pass has happened from...
Wait, we've had a star pass in the first jam?
In the first jam. So 702 is now your jammer for Wiltshire.
That might be the fastest star pass in a game I've ever seen.
That's it. It's tactical. It's good, isn't it? No messing around. Just like, that whistle went. It wasn't me. Someone else's problem now. There you go.
Well, I was about to say it's free walls for everybody. London managed to get a good reset on Wilshire's jammer, but their jammer's right stuck at the front in a pyramid of green. And I barely moved along the halfway mark of the straightaway.
Really stretching out that pack, though, weren't they? There was sort of one person every 10 feet, nice and regular, keeping the pack all the way as far back as possible. There's a much better view from the front of the pack. Ooh, was that a foot over the edge?
Max gets out, gets the full 4. We have lost 2 to the penalty box. That's why our walls look a little lighter on track at the moment.
Part of you goes, yeah, that'll make it easier. Nope, there's still 3 people incredibly strong against each of those jammers there. And Max pulls it off.
So we end that jam with, how about everybody just has 6 points?
6, ooh.
Do
we think this is a foreshadowing for the rest of the game? It's going to be very tight at the top?
No pressure, but we did end the last game's half-time on an exact tie.
We did. So these guys are just picking up where that came from, right?
Yes.
Lovely.
So London's skating 1 short as they've still got a blocker in the box in this next jam.
Do you think that was tactical?
I think it's just unfortunate timing. Not unfortunate, it's Swift, straight out of the jam, getting lead for Wiltshire.
That's it, making the most of having the additional person there to mess some stuff up for them. But for London, we've got Major Vengeance fighting their way through.
Swift has already whizzed past our eyes, completing their first scoring pass, banking 4 more points and shifting Wiltshire temporarily into the lead at the moment. And we have lost Major Vengeance to the penalty box. So I believe we're now in our first power jam.
Power jam time.
We're only in jam 2, and we've had a star pass and a power jam.
Yep, and we had a perfect even Stevens.
So that's most of it. That feels like almost a full line on your bingo card at home. Swift's just got 1 line of defence left. Out of play call means they get to passively leave.
Oh, and they've iced Max in the box. No, not Max. Major Vengeance.
Yeah.
So bad.
So we'll go into the next jam with a potential power jam start.
I love a good power jam start. It was when the blockers are free to just rain absolute chaos on the opposing wall right from the get-go.
Now, I think this is a great test of a team's mettle. Like, you're down on your score pointer. What can you do?
What can you do? Hold stiff. There's already some tussling going on there, isn't there, between the pivots?
Oh, outside line.
Oh, beautiful. Tiptoeing down the side there.
That's
from
Linsane.
Linsane. Oh, but she cut. She wasn't able to pass through time and space.
But that means opportunity for Major Vengeance to earn the jammer status they didn't quite get in the previous jam.
There we go, yeah, because obviously the penalty was committed before they came out the front of the pack, therefore no lead jammer is called. Lead is still open.
And Wiltshire immediately putting the brakes on, clamping down on Major Vengeance.
Absolutely.
They've literally been sort of pincering them all the way down the straightaway. We've only just managed to get a corner free.
Other than that initial kind of really spreading out the pack, these guys are super on top of each other and the pack is being quite dense, which makes it super difficult for either jammer to kind of get through because you're tussling not just with the opposing blockers, but with your own.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're now back to the jammer line and we've had over a minute of play and I don't think we've had a lead call. Like, no. We haven't. Like, obviously now
Linsane is ready to score, having made their way through the pack for that initial pass.
It's this rotating pyramid of, like, stoppage that's been clamping down on Major Vengeance has been really unfortunate for them.
Oh, some exceptional balance on both those occasions there from Linsane.
Now we do lose London's pivot to the box. They're down 2 blockers, only 2 remaining to attempt to shatter this 4-wall of Wiltshire defence.
I was just thinking that's going to be a real blow for London, but of course because lead jammer still hasn't been called, there's still a chance that if they don't take off that pivot panty, the star panty, helmet cover, Major Vengeance can gain lead and gain control of the jam. And
absolutely
maybe
no precious. We've got 3, 2, and 1, and we have had a lead jammerless jam.
Wow!
If that was your centre square, congratulations. Like, when does that happen?
Right now.
Oh yes,
playoffs.
yes. You've seen it. You've seen it now. You can say you were there. But Wiltshire got themselves 8 points, keeping London to 0 points.
They did.
Extending their lead, 6-22 currently.
Gosh. Yeah, that's quite the jump from 6-all, isn't it?
Yeah. We do have both jammers on the starting line this time round.
Oh, Diamond Dodge, living up to their name, absolutely dodging past all of the Battersea blocks, although there was 2 of them, but... and again!
Lovely dip there to get through, so quick.
A full pass, even before I'd finished the sentence.
I'm worried that Diamond Dodge has just got a permanent low stance. I don't think I've seen them stood... That's the most upright I've seen them in this jam right now.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
Palmageddon still fighting to find any sort of gap.
Whoops.
Has been dragged back now, almost directly to the jam line they were on, but moments ago. Trying to find any form of space. The inside edge is denied to them. Now they're trying the outside, and unfortunately meeting another 2-wall.
That was perfectly positioned by 355 there, right in the pathway of Diamond Dodge. And one of those unrelenting forces.
Yeah, I was about to say, London's pivot has sort of, like, not given up the goat on trying to track down. As speedy as Diamond is, they were unable to dodge all of the blocks from London's pivot.
And they are all over the track themselves as well, aren't they? They're covering like from the inside to the outside, front, back, wherever you need them.
So yeah,
they are right there.
Pandemonium, shout out to you. You were the reason this jam didn't go so completely cray for Wiltshire. It's 16 points. Your teammate managed to get you 4 on the board. But that could have been a much higher scoring jam for Wiltshire if that defence hadn't been so on it.
We were talking before we came online, weren't we, about how the scoreline isn't always necessarily representative of just the sheer amount of effort that goes in to these games. So, you could easily just look at the points and go, 16 points for Wiltshire, that must have been a really easy jam. But Battersea are making them work for every single one of those
No, we
points.
pretty much ran to time on that, which is like evidence of like, I want to try to get all 4 of my points. I want to try to get out. We're just having a quick official timeout, and we appear to have, unfortunately, lost Wiltshire's jammer. So for all of their point scoring, they will start in the box, giving London their chance at a power jam. Very, very low stance by Max there. I almost couldn't see them at the start of this jam. They're getting proper pinballed about at the moment off those Wiltshire blockers.
Just off screen, we've got one of the Battersea Power blockers returning to round. They started off with 2 in the bin. Now they're down to 1.
Max does get out. Back. Oh, no. I cursed them. They've earned themselves a cut track penalty.
So that means we're back in the position where someone could return from the bin to gain the jammer status.
True, and just as you say that, on cue, Diamond Dodge leaps back on track. It's almost like this is preordained, like some wrestling match or something. No, this is all real and live, is Roller Derby.
It is. And here comes the Battersea Power Jammer with a steel chair. No, not happening at all.
No. Unfortunately, the steel grip that Battersea have on poor old Diamond Dodge has been relentless, only just managing to get past 3 into corner 4 now.
That's it. Wiltshire are holding steady at the back there to really stretch out the pack. So that each 10-foot marker that gets past, that means 1 less person for Diamond Dodge to have to fight against.
Diamond Dodge thought they had a line on the outside edge, whizzing around, but have got trapped. Max, though, is back out and has got themselves their initial pass has been done.
Great. There was some beautiful tippy-tapping down the side edge there as well. Just staying within bounds this time to get that pass. Not enough to score points, though, but again, really making Wiltshire work for it.
True. We're going into a timeout called by London. Current score is 10 to London, 42 to Wiltshire. I think they're just probably having this timeout because it's warm.
It is. It is incredibly warm, and it's so important that not just the players kind of stay hydrated, but also our official crews, NSOs, medics, photographers, everybody, even us.
I was going to say, I've just had a quick swig of some water, and it was water, because I'm not a fool. I'm not going to drink anything other than water today.
So we've really got both sides of the thing here, haven't we? You were on the water, and I'm sitting here with a Starbucks and a Monster.
True. Like, if the energy levels from Lid rise considerably as this game goes on, as the caffeine deplenishes, you know what's happening. So we do have a little bit of a mini update. It's not visible on stream, but we have lost Rogue Fun to the penalty box. Got a sort of penalty call right near the end of that jam. So that means London will be starting 2 down. So they'll only have 2 blockers on track and a jammer, which you can see arrive now. Look at that. I prepared this earlier.
Which is, I mean, it's exciting. We're quite early on in the game, and Rogue Fun, 3 penalties in 5 jams.
Hopefully, that's all they get this game.
That's it.
That's the way I like to look at it. You know what I mean?
Get them in early and then have a clean remainder of the game.
So we go now into our 6th jam of this first half. Major Vengeance for London stuck at the back, but Swift has earned themselves lead for Wiltshire.
Major Vengeance fighting her way through the Wiltshire pack. Now, it wasn't quite as quick on the escape this time, which means, I think, everybody's starting to get the measure of each other now. Yeah,
I've noticed a lot of consistent free walls, pizza slices, pizza wedges, whatever you wish to call it, pyramids or whatever's clamping round skaters.
Yeah, those Wiltshire skaters were just absolutely not moving, not allowing Major Payne even an inch.
We've just lost Snatch due to a multiplayer call, so we're now 2 in the box, 2 on track for London. So they've unfortunately been consistently skating a wee bit short this jam.
The helmet cover has come off. Is it still in the hand of Major Vengeance?
Yes, it was a fluke. It was a distraction. They weren't. They bamboozled us.
It's a good tactic. It's a good tactic as a player when you get trained in your brain to look for that star. And when you can't see the star, suddenly you're panicking and looking around like, where is it? Where is it? And it can mean that you just sneak through unseen, camouflaged almost.
It does mean Major Vengeance is now on their first scoring pass.
There you go.
Swift, though,
and coming in as some help there from London.
Yeah, I was about to say, Swift, though, is on a fair few more scoring passes at the moment, helping to extend Wiltshire's current lead. Just realised we've got only precious seconds left of this jam. They've ran this long.
They have.
What energy reserve are they going to have? Not for the second half, for the later part of this half.
Of this half, yeah. The Wiltshire bench crew, they're very have been very sort of like nonchalantly just being like, yeah, just keep it going, just keep it going. Presumably because they're just getting the nice breeze coming from everybody skating around.
Does Wiltshire have like a second team hidden in reserve they can break for the second half? Are they like something we've not heard? So we end with a 19-point jam for Wiltshire.
Now, 8 points for London.
Yes. So that's got them sort of a stronger place on the board.
That's it.
Currently, though, that prior jam, I think, counts as our highest scoring jam so far. But we're only about 18 minutes in. It's all to play for.
18 minutes in, 18 minutes left, which means we've only had 10 minutes.
I'm reading the clock wrong.
That's all right.
I'm so frazzled.
They all do it different in different sports, isn't it?
That's true.
It's all wild.
Palmageddon getting checked to the outside, but just off camera, whizzing out was Le Renegade.
Law Renegade. This is the first time that Law Renegade has taken to the track with a star on their head, if memory serves correct.
Yes, getting themselves lead, but getting quite deeply reset. So Pat got really strung out there. Lou does find a gap on the outside, gets the full four and goes, I'm banking it.
Yep.
Put it in savings.
Tactical call off.
Yep.
Let's not fight anymore.
Yeah. Do right near the end of that jam lose one of Wiltshire's blockers to the box, so they will be skating short. You'll only see a free wall of blockers in this next jam.
Well, will we see a three wall? It's interesting. Do they take the tactic to go fully defensive, or do they go, we'll have two people being defensive and one person helping out?
This is the secret fun of loving to have an announcer who has skated. Like I've skated twice in my entire life. Max gets lead,
there we go.
So I don't have that understanding, that like psyche of like what you would or wouldn't do. Diamond's stashed to the star, but has got caught by a two-wall at the front. Last line of defense is London's pivot, and they just managed to crack out at the end.
It's pandemonium again, isn't it? 3-5-5 every single time when it's like there's someone holding on for London. Ooh, what a glorious leap!
Styled it out a bit and called it off. Unfortunately, no extra points for style. We loved it.
We did love it, yeah. We'll give them some extra points, announcer points. So that was London's second lead of the game. And they got 4 points out of it, narrowing that lead, little by little, nibbling away at that lead that Wiltshire are sitting on, letting them know they can't take it easy.
Right, so we now go into this 9th jam this afternoon. Emery of the State buried away there behind all of that wall of blockers. Lindsayne is there as well, if you can make them out, if you can just check those two star covers on each helmet.
They are the pair of feet obscured entirely by the wall of the other team.
I was about to say, we've gone back now to clamping down on jammers.
That was a nice little train formed there between Lindsayne and, who is that for Wiltshire? 249 Serenity.
We did lose Lindsayne at the end of that to the outside.
Did.
Seemed to have rattled them a little bit. They were a little slower than normal to get back on track, but it as we've been saying consistently, it's been very warm here. It's extra sapping for anybody doing anything that isn't just sitting and talking.
I think it's making the floor also that extra little bit slippy. So, you know, whilst that sort of like that choo-choo train would have just been allowed them to absolutely snap it around, it makes it a little bit tougher.
Well, a call off on the outside, but that's all still legit. You can do it, you know. You call it off in the air if you wanted. Please land it, though. Don't just stay in the air.
Yeah.
That'd be really weird.
Just hovering.
Yeah. Kind of defying the laws of physics there.
Like, that's a penalty for witchcraft?
So just 2 extra points for Wiltshire. Wiltshire, not wheelchair. I've got to enunciate.
Wiltshire, darling. Wiltshire.
Thank you.
That's okay. Empty bin starting this jam, so you've got your full complement of 4 blockers on each team, plus your jammers. Which
is probably making it a little hard for you at home to work out who's jamming, if not for this wonderful overlay we've got. So buried away in there somewhere is Palmageddon. And right at the back is Swift, who's probably been the slowest they've been all day so far, being tracked behind London's blockers. We have lost Pandemonium to the penalty box, so possibly an opportunity for Wiltshire to not be as slow as normal now.
That's true. We've also lost another London blocker as well, so Wiltshire are only fighting against 2 now. And for every 1 point passed on the track, they score what's in the bin.
So we do have Medusa and Over the Painbow as last line of defense for London. They've did their best a moment ago to slow down Swift, but they're doing now their utmost to help shatter Wiltshire's defense to allow their jammer through.
There we go. Swift is through again for another 4 points on the board.
I think it must have been established very early in Swift's Derby career that your Derby name makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Wonder, was it picked or was it gifted to them? Ooh, that was a lovely little transition on the toe stop there from Palmageddon. Just going around the edge, but just slightly scooched over the rope. So
But
recycle.
Currently, Swift not being Swift. Now
yeah,
that we've got a full complement
entrenched.
of London blockers back on track, we can. There's the opportunity for the pack to be strung out, as you can see.
We do.
But I'm a bit unfortunate there. Palmageddon just kind of managed to get to the front
They
as
did.
the jam was called. So
That's it.
Swift saw what was in their rear view mirror, didn't like it, and said nope.
Nope, we'll end it there.
So
11 points on the board.
and a cheeky free there.
There we go.
Just, and I spy a German free there as well from our jam ref to make things nice and clear. So.
Yes. How to spot the Europeans
True
for
that.
the game. Okay, Jessasaurus is up for London. I think this might be their... No.
Yep.
Is it their first? Or
This is,
their
I
second?
believe it is, but certainly let's see what they can bring,
Okay.
because they're up against 702, or I think it has been up twice before, but they have 702 zipping on the inside line.
Oh,
getting
the
up.
power there. Sorry, just Jessasaurus absolutely just being like, I am not slowing down for anyone.
And
you can come with me if you want, but I'm getting through this pack.
And I don't think Seven realised that Jessasaurus was pretty much in their shadow. You couldn't see it on
Absolutely.
stream, but they took a stupidly low stance to maintain their max speed as they came straight out of corner free, right behind.
Trying to be as aerodynamic as possible.
True. Oh. 11 jams in. 2 extra points to Wiltshire. 25 to 80.
London really committing to that high line there, aren't they? Every single one of them on the pivot line, but then scooching back as soon as the whistle's gone. Is it going to work out? Ooh, just nudged out there was Max.
Great attempt, great threat though on the outside edge.
Ooh. Diamond dodge, again, just like throwing their upper body weight around so that those blockers have no idea which way the legs are going. It's beautiful to see.
And a cheeky mini assist there from Ginge gets Diamond Dodge out at the front, earning them lead status.
Max in hot pursuit though, so it's going to be up to whether or not Battersea can lock down Diamond Dodge.
I was about to say, for a moment there, we had the most like forward momentum we'd seen of our pack. We'd had a lot of slow, more defense heavy, and I was worried we were about to have like the sort of speedy pack that OPRs hate, as it just like, please stop running away from me.
I was going to say, yeah, the OPRs have probably been enjoying the kind of like the slowness. There's a perfect speed, isn't there, where you kind of get to pootle along, but it's not constantly racing, but you kind of get a bit of the breeze.
More tactical derbies, very much enjoyed by our referees on the outside. Well, everybody's on. Clean penalty box. I'm probably just jinxing it by mentioning this. Okay, we got Major Vengeance at the front, trapped behind a free wall. Hopefully that gets, well, it gets temporarily shattered there by Block Nez Monster.
786, question mark there. Really incredibly digging in on Major Vengeance. That was glorious to see that even on this slippy floor, you're still able to dig in those edges to go, you are not coming past.
We're over 30 seconds in and we still haven't quite got a lead.
Now, Law Renegade goes past, and there's the whistle that says,
There we
you
go.
are the
I
lead
shouldn't have said that, should I?
No, always say it. Make the exciting things happen. Let's see how strong that latent magical power is.
Ooh.
I thought we were going to get a jump there.
I was worried they weren't going to like quite. They almost looked like they were twisting and weren't going to quite stick it and like spin off towards like the scoreboard up there.
So those jammers always just find those little bits in between reality that allow them to go from one side of the track to the other in one tiny step.
Now, Laura's managed to complete, well, one scoring pass. That will be a second they managed to bank as well. Curious to see if London had managed to actually...
They did. London scored the full 4.
Nice.
It's hard to tell sometimes, isn't it? Because you can be absolutely stuck in the mix of it, but the way that things rotate, you can be genuinely racking up those points.
You might not have realised you've earned the full 4 and you're still stuck in the pack.
Absolutely.
Because you've been reset so much, you've actually scored on everybody. We're pivotless for London as we go into this next jam. See if that creates an opportunity for Palmageddon.
Palmageddon was trying to follow in the footsteps of Swift, so going exactly the same way. So Wiltshire have to decide, do we block our own jammer or do we try and...
Well, it certainly worked.
It did, absolutely. Palmageddon is out of there. They are in control of the jam. Lovely little jump there.
We've also had a star pass to Wiltshire. Bookworm's Revenge, temporarily, was your jammer for Team Green.
1 on the stats book.
Yeah.
Done. Tick. New patch for them.
I've just also noticed that Bookworks Revenge, skating in green, has green dyed hair and green lipstick, so it's truly embracing the team's colours.
And it's and green glittery lipstick as well. I'd love to see it. Getting into the Louise Ryder spirit early.
True, yes. Unfortunately, that previous jam was so fast. London's block pivot is just still now standing in the penalty box, so we still have a free blocker start for London.
One of the worst feelings sometimes is being stuck in the penalty box, not just for like 1 jam, but for 2. But at the same time, it is very warm. We've mentioned it several times already. So I'm sure they're like, well, you know, I'll take the extra rest. That's fine.
I thought Enemy of the State was going to get it with that early attempt at the inside line, but a gap appeared for Lindsayne to take that 2 and got, well, unfortunately, no.
No.
That's a cut.
Uh-oh.
So it's still open. Oh, no, it's not, because Enemy of the State has removed the jammer cover.
That means it's going to be the full 2 minutes for these guys.
Obviously, it would have made perfect sense the second they perceived lead had been won to sort of go, no, I'm just going to hand the star over, but it's a shame they can't capitalise on potential lead status.
The star has gone back on the helmet for Enemy of the State. Clearly their pivot's like, nah, I'm not taking that. You're on your own. And, you know, that's fine. They didn't need the help. They bust out the front.
Beginning their scoring pass. Unfortunately, they're just about to be joined by Lindsayne, but I'm unsure if Lindsayne has actually completed their initial, given when the penalty was called. Nope, they didn't, so they too are on their initial scoring now.
Everybody's scoring from now. I'm glad you're keeping track of this.
That's okay. It helps understand like where the points are coming from. Why
there's going to be some directional there, sorry, from London.
Right.
It was.
So we now losing Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State's gone as well.
So
gosh,
Wiltshire's the only jammer on track. I've been politely informed that they've managed to maintain an 80% lead average so far. So that's some good stats.
That is some good stats. But also it's great that Wiltshire, that London, despite having the lesser share of lead, are still kind of, you know, keeping it within about halfway of Wiltshire's score.
I was about to say, we just a few beats earlier, that was a great check from Iron Bars, fresh from the penalty box after that long stay, keeping Lindsay and check to the inside, and then would have caught them on the out, but the jam ended before they got sort of a second chance to interact.
So this one might be a quick start, because we've got London's jammer is frozen in the bin.
We do appear to have what looks like a pivot line start.
They are, so they're going for maximum run up.
It seems to just be like, it's not so much run up as run away, but that unfortunately drifted, giving Diamond Dodge a clear gap on the inside line.
That's it. Well, yeah, Diamond Dodge enjoys picking up the speed so they can dodge around. So, yeah, makes sense that Battersea were like, no, we're going to try and be as far ahead as possible. And that's a penalty assessed to 3-1-3. They came back on track, immediately left again.
Yeah, that would be, I think it's an illegal re-entry by the looks of it. So that's effectively under the umbrella of cut tracks. So more time in the box to recharge, but unfortunately more time on track for Diamond Dodge to rack up unopposed points.
Absolutely.
See, look at that confident stride coming out of corner 2 there.
Just taking a little bit of a breather there around that corner, just being like, whew.
So Wiltshire wisely initially starting with sort of a passive inside wall, letting London dictate what's happened. They lose, unfortunately, another blocker to the box. Enemy of the State, though, is back on track.
They have indeed been released. They're keeping the helmet cover off their head, though, just in case. Doesn't look like Wiltshire are falling for it, though, and are 4 people on top of them.
Actually, a complete lockdown now there. I mean, you at home probably can't even see Enemy of the State. They are completely buried by Wiltshire's defence.
13 there. Ginge was absolutely not having any of it as Enemy of the State tried to sneak through with a low stance.
Ooh. Apex Hot was checked in the air, a denial from Max Voltage, unfortunately. But that also cost them a penalty, but I know some benches would go, yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah, yeah. We're not strictly speaking supposed to say it, but sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, no, you stopped them scoring more points. We've lost also Wiltshire's pivot to the box as well. So that's a Bookworm Renegade getting a 30-second rest. Though unfortunately that 30-second rest will take them into the next jam. And we're starting with quite a few in the box.
We are, yeah. So it's going to be 2 blockers on the track for Wiltshire, 3 for Battersea. Both jammers should be on track. So there's definitely going to be some interesting tactics going on. We're going to have a power pizza and a tripod, presumably.
So I thought for a fraction of a second there we had a lone London jammer, but I realised I just couldn't see Wiltshire's skating back there.
She was masquerading
Yes.
as a blocker, which actually, that's what they're doing, isn't it? They're going for the tactic of just slowing down the jammer whilst they get a few more players out of the box.
Now,
702, thought they were out of it there. Lovely check to the inside, drawing a cut.
Yep, so opportunity now for Parmageddon to get, and they do.
They do.
Finally, the announcer curse works.
Was it one toe stop remained in as they just tippy-tapped through that edge?
There's a chance now for London to reverse their current fortunes and get some points on the board. Unfortunately, Wiltshire's defence is all on it at the moment.
They are, but Block Nest Monster is really causing some problems there for the Wiltshire tripod.
Catching any sort of lone blocker to say nope. Now leading London's defence against 702. Almost got trapped on their own teammates there.
Yeah, when those packs collide, when the lumps of people collide, it's so difficult to find those gaps, and you find that your shape is distorted by other people, and you kind of have to mould around another group of people whilst also holding on to the same person. It's incredibly difficult, even though these guys make it look easy.
Well, that's, I think, for a while, one of London's first leads that's gone unopposed, getting themselves a cheeky 4, keeping control for that previous jam. Hopefully that's the vibe they'd want. We've only got about just under 2 minutes left of this half.
Oh gosh, that went quick, didn't it?
It does. It does. When you get involved, you just sort of blink and you miss it. So clean penalty box currently, and with that, Max out, but so swift. The race is on.
The race is on. It looks like something seems to have happened with the London team. They are looking like they are ready for a fight. 90 on the line there was absolutely jostling and hustling, ready to make that space.
Max repeating some great footwork. Outside line, tippy-toey, and banks the full 4, and that was also unopposed.
There you go.
So we've now only just a minute remaining.
Just a minute.
Well, I thought that would potentially go. That might have been I almost said it. I thought it was going to be our last jam.
Yep.
The second you think that in your head, it's not your last
There's
jam.
always one more. Over the Painbow, currently in the bin. So Wiltshire will start with the advantage.
Just going for a quick, cheeky official timeout. Just on the edge of your view at home, you might be able to see some of our inside refs chatting away.
Yeah. Interesting fact, when London are getting the lead, Green have been getting 0 points.
So no pressure, London. You need to get lead through all of the second half.
That's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. Just get lead. Get lead and win.
Get lead, and then they don't score, but you do. And that's how you win, right?
That's it. That's it. Go fast. Turn left.
Now, it seems curious to know what our official timeout is in regards to.
Well, the Wiltshire jammer has just been removed from track, and our jammer from the previous jam, Swift, has been told to sit down. So presumably they did something naughty.
It potentially looks like some sort of a positional-based penalty.
Okay, it might have been at that end, sort of like, you know, the whistle started and then they did a little cheeky hit, which is not permissible.
Possible. We were following Max as the end of that prior jam.
5. There again, Block Nest Monster absolutely saying, no, you're not getting in the way of my jammer. doing some damage there to question mark.
A bit of a deep reset there by 808 on Max Major Vengeance, slowing down the stride they had earlier. We've only just managed to get around a corner free, and we're well over 30 seconds gone of this current jam.
Yeah, both jammers are now on and battling for the front. And Swift by name and nature makes it through the front to gain lead jammer. Oh, we've got some people on the floor, gosh.
A bit of a tumble there by Major, but they're back up on their skates, so that's all good. 5 again, managing to temporarily slow Swift down and bounce them to the outside.
It's so satisfying. Like, often you're not able to catch those people because they are going so fast, but just knowing that you've been able to make contact and just shave that bit of speed off is immensely satisfying.
Yeah, break that line that they thought they had.
And that's it. And every so often you're able to just get them in just the right place so you make them wobble. If you can make them wobble, then they might be drawing a cut, might be stepping a foot out, or going down. It's all good
Now,
stuff.
we have been losing blockers to the penalty box willy-nilly. They've been giving out penalties like free candy at the moment. We've lost 2 for Green and 1 for London. Does make us a bit lighter on defence, but no less the action is happening as we've got precious seconds left of what I'm going to say is most likely our last jam of this half.
Yes, the period clock is actually at 0 now, which we can see here, but is you can't see at home. But it is a power jam. Is it a power jam?
Well,
I saw a power jam signal occurring.
We have ended.
Oh.
So we're just going to
We're
give
going to
this...
start with a power jam in the next half.
Nice. Well, Wiltshire gets themselves 11 more points for their trouble, unopposed by London in that last jam.
Oh.
So, current scores, 45 to London, 127 to Wiltshire. An impressive display from Green Team,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
no less the all-on defence from London.
They've got 2 very distinct and very different styles, haven't they? So Wiltshire have got some incredibly agile jammers, which are ducking and diving and weaving all over the place. And Battersea just have that raw power and stoppage, which is meaning when they catch them, they're absolutely not going anywhere.
Well, not going anywhere is all of you at home. Please stay around, because in less than 9 more minutes we'll be back with the second half of our 4th game this afternoon. I've been McGee.
And I've been Lid Vicious.
And we'll see you in about 8 and a bit minutes.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye. And we're back in the room.
This still very warm room, unfortunately.
It's still a very warm room, yes. But, we noticed that London, in the warm room, have been handing out ice lollies to their teammates to
Not to
reset
us,
their
though.
bodies.
Not to us,
You're
though.
right, actually. Good point. How dare they?
Yeah, I liked you, London, up until you didn't give us ice lollies.
Is it because they're nice, or is it because they're trying to reset the physiology of all of their players?
I think it would make, in this, I know we keep saying it, but in this warm heat, that is the wisest thing you could do.
Absolutely. Coming back refreshed and ready to go.
Hydration for the nation needs to happen.
Yeah. Whilst we were away, we got given a very interesting fact, which I want to pass on to you guys about London, actually. So London, in their region, in the tier, went undefeated throughout the run-up to the playoffs, whereas Wiltshire only placed 2nd in their tier. So this scoreline is quite interesting.
And it was a great last home game for London against Rocket Rolling, for example, and really set a precedent of what I thought we'd be expecting. So I'm absolutely loving what's happening today.
Oh, bit of a false start there. So we're starting with just the 1 jammer on track, and clearly London are like, we're not letting you get anywhere near us by starting right at the front, so they can leg it as soon as that whistle goes.
Just trying to work out whom we do currently have as our lonesome jammer there.
They're very smiley.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you're the only jammer on track. Of course you're going to be smiling.
Yeah,
you're looking forward to hopefully getting all the points.
If they're going to run, does that mean it's going to be Swift, maybe? Or Diamond Dodge? They both enjoy a run-up, don't they?
Oh, if only we could enhance and zoom.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Computer zoom.
quick extra switcheroo because London did try to fill just one too many blockers.
One too many people. Easily done. Here comes the run-up for Law Renegade.
But just as they've started their run-up, Major Vengeance is actually released from the box and is making the way to the back of the pack.
That's it. The London tripod slowing them down, slowing Law Renegade down, though, which gives them just enough time to get out there and punch through. And Major Vengeance is also out of here.
Blue Renegade has banked their first set of 4 points and is literally doing their best to be in Major Vengeance's shadow as they approach the back of the pack.
Absolutely.
Whizzing through and, ooh, inside line. Ooh. Stylish call off.
It was so good. Just having that foresight and that wherewithal that, like, I'm going to take off. And the first thing I do when I hit the ground again is I'm going to need to call it.
So it's a strong 8 points starting this second half for Wiltshire. Cheeky 2, though. London banked just near the end of that jam.
It is. Every point counts.
Now, we do have Swift, who you were eager for before lining up in this next jam. We've been kindly informed that they managed to score 58 of Wiltshire's prior 127 points.
That's almost half.
Yes, and they've also got themselves lead jammer status. So they're doing it all, collecting all the badges. But don't let that slow Max down, doing their best to chase Swift in their shadow. Now, they managed to zip through whilst that call-off was ending.
They do, and they again sneak 2 points in. Oh, 2 favourite points as well there.
Yeah.
Favourite points because they weren't the lead, but have scored the points anyway.
So
very good.
As Swift was, didn't manage to get any.
Wiltshire with the advantage when it comes to blockers again, but will they gain the lead?
Of course, as you say that, Leanne Cloquier was released from the penalty box, joining the back of the pack.
They were
finding their space right at the front instantly almost and shattering that free wall to give Palmageddon some opportunity to get through.
There you go. Lindsay is very keen on taking that inside line, but it does seem that London have got the measure of them and are taking it in turns to absolutely hammer them off that edge. First off, it was Elsie Dagger going in for the kill. We've also got Lena Cloquier there as well.
Obviously, freshly recharged from a wee sit in the penalty box. This feels like a very controlled slow jam, given the pace we had in the previous half.
It is. I'm wondering if during half-time they've had a discussion about working smarter, not harder. They can absolutely whip it round the track incredibly fast, but actually maybe holding on to those jammers and making them sweat it out is where they're going to get the wins in.
Now, we've got less than a minute of this jam remaining, and we looked for a moment like we were about to get Lindsay as our lead, but then they got themselves a penalty. So we currently have absolutely no lead.
No lead.
So
it happens. I mean, it happened within the first 2 jams, didn't it?
Yes.
And it's going to happen again. So with that jammer in the bin, it means that London can focus on offending on Wiltshire.
I also feel this is the first point in which the packs managed to complete an entire lap. That's how slow this jam has been. Only just now creeping round to corner 2 for the second time.
Palmageddon looks like they're looking desperately for someone to come and help them. But unfortunately, they are very occupied with Wiltshire.
Such a shame they just managed to find a line with only seconds to spare. So we went leadless and pointless in that jam. Obviously, it's not pointless. It was no points scored. Nothing in roller derby is pointless. Bit of hype energy coming from part of our crowd, not necessarily being picked up on the mic, but I think that's kind of what we need in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need that little bit of extra energy to boost you through. And it is remarkable how much just like hearing your name kind of coming across the winds in a sports hall really makes you go, yeah, I can get up and I can throw myself into 4 human beings again.
Speaking of throwing themselves into human beings, it's Diamond Dodge at the front, throwing themselves through to earn themselves lead jammer status.
Fighting strongly against Pandemonium 355. I think, to be honest, they have been my MVP up to this point. They are all over everyone.
I also don't think I've not seen them without the pivot cover on.
True.
It's every time I glance, it's pivot cover and the huge sort of long. Oh, my word!
But the pivot cover and the long pigtails.
Yes,
are
the braids
quite
there.
stand out.
But inversely, I don't think you need to be able to tell what we just witnessed: a jammer, a passer go there from Diamond Dodge.
Yeah, so keen to stay out of the way of Pandemonium, they are willing to leap.
I thought it was going to be a great spin to absorb that check on Emery there, but they unfortunately just couldn't quite keep it all inbounds with a quick reset to the back to keep safe.
Did. Medusa was doing some excellent blocking there, on 1 foot, still fully bodily locked in to Diamond Dodge. The awareness that these skaters have of just where they need to be and how they need to position themselves to make themselves stable whilst on 1 foot, leaning over to the left, and all of this is amazing to see.
Well, Diamond Dodge kept control of that jam, logically ending it early as they could as lead jammer.
16 on the board for Wiltshire, bringing their grand total to 151 against London Battersea's 56. But they put 7 up, which is no shoddy total there at all.
Also, that's 16 points is a strong high score for the second half to sort of set the bar.
Sure is.
We are getting a team timeout from Wiltshire. So that gives us a wee break. So you at home, if you've got us on a phone, dash into the kitchen, grab a glass of water.
So quickly flick kettle on.
Yeah, well,
all that kind of stuff.
maybe not actually,
No,
unless
yeah,
it's
probably
really
not that.
cold. I mean, if you are watching us internationally and it's miserable where you are,
Oh, true.
Yeah, engage. But anybody within the UK is experiencing exceptionally warm September weather, which we shouldn't be getting.
People are constantly promising you, though, if you drink a cup of tea, it will cool you down, which, frankly, I think is a lie. But enough people seem to say it. There must be some merit in it, right?
I think I've fallen foul of believing that way too much in the past. So,
Talking of falling foul, actually, number 49, Rogue Fun, is on 6 penalties now, so we might be getting to that point where we start to see less of them.
true. I would agree that you probably wouldn't want to rotate them as much.
Yeah.
Just to play extra safe.
That's it.
They've probably been having too much fun.
Too much fun.
So we're only 5 jams in.
Yep.
Got ourselves Parmageddon right at the back there for London. The initially confusing 702,
Yep.
who's both on the jersey and on the board, getting themselves, out first, but no pass, no penalty gesture. So lead is still open.
Sneaky. So you can go past someone, but as long as you don't commit a penalty while that happens, you get this, exciting, the hand swirling around one stationary hand. You can go back into the pack to rescore that point so that you can gain lead jammer, but once you've left
The front
the engagement zone, that's it, it's over. You are not allowed to be lead.
So 702 is I may as well start scoring points.
Yeah, might as well get the points on the
You know,
board.
I've got momentum, I've got my stride going on.
Ooh, and just... I thought that Parmageddon was about to make it out of there, but unfortunately 1 foot just went out of bounds. And they've had to come in behind everybody else again.
Now 702's got another scoring pass completed, but they didn't get the full 4 for yet again. Another no pass, no penalty instance. So they only got 3 of the full 4 they should have got, but that's still 3 points.
It's still 3 points.
So if you were a little confused at home of hang on, why didn't they get all of them? That's the reason why.
Yeah.
And there we have, with but over 30 seconds remaining of our jam, lead jammer status called. Slight confusion from London's lead jammer of, wait, I'm lead?
So cool, though, wasn't it? Just skating backwards casually going, oh, what do you want me to do, to their bench coach? All the while, 702 bearing down on them.
So now Parmageddon is actually on their scoring pass.
Yeah. So at this point, London will be thinking, well, we might as well get some points. And they do, and then call it off.
But are not to be sneezed at, 11 points for 7-0-2, regardless of the lead status.
That's it.
So yeah, there we go. First jammer out, not getting lead. So that's another one for your bingo card.
There you go.
A 3-point full scoring pass. That's another weird one.
Yep.
So punch that square. So yeah, we're getting a nice 2 lines worth of bingo with this game.
It does. All we've got left next, I think, is having a jammer switcheroo in the penalty box, maybe?
Oh yes, true. We've
Haven't
not
had one of
actually had
those.
this in this game at all.
Oh, we've got skittles occurring, though. We've got Jessosaurus is back on as the jammer. And once again, no one is getting in their way. Through they come.
Swift now starting their first scoring pass. We blinked and we missed them sort of whiz out as lead.
That's it.
And immediately banking the 4 they got.
That's it. Well, because Jessosaurus was ready to punch their way through. And in fact, as they were forcing their way forward, they scored a point.
I have actually been also advised of one other thing that we might put on our scorecard that did technically happen in a game earlier today. So far, we have had none of our officials, and I'm going to specifically highlight refs, given they are wearing pads of protection, none of them taken out. Now, I would not wish that on anybody, but it did happen in, I believe, our second game of the day to one of our jam refs.
It did. It looked painful as well, sort of like they got a wheel to the shin.
But they got back up, and also, speaking of getting right back up, it's Max whizzing out unopposed, and now exceptionally unopposed, as we've lost Le Renegade to the box to a cut. Max is also lead and your only jammer on track.
There we go. Max voltage turns up to max power. Oh, not max voltage, sorry. Just max.
Let's maximize everything.
Max the max.
Yes. To the max.
What you can't see in the bin is that the London pivot is having a lovely little chat with Law Renegade, who's sat there, which is good because everything's fair in love and war and roller derby.
Just been passed a little bit of unfortunate news that we've also had a complete foul out. We will not see iron bars for the remainder of this game, so that Black 27 is no longer going to take the track as they have fouled out.
Oh, question mark! Just there on that corner, like as Max was zipping around the edge, just going like, not one single more point for you. Absolutely blasted them out on the side. Amazing stuff. And a timeout called by London. Which is good.
Oh, for all of that tussling, they got themselves 3 points from that prior jam. Also keeping Wiltshire to no points.
That's good.
So
that's good.
you sometimes argue that these team timed outs don't ever feel long enough. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you wouldn't want it to be too long that you get like, oh, like chill and relax. Like, I've got to get on the skates now.
That's it. If you're really clever with your clock play, you can get the sort of timeout to be stretched as long as possible, because you can call your timeout any time within the 30 seconds bench time in between jams. So if you wait right till that last second and then start furiously making the timeout, you can really stretch it.
I've had more than enough benches come up and go, I would like to call my timeout at 25 seconds. And I've said, you can do that, but you're still going to have to make the hand gestures at me at 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing that for you. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
It's even worse when they do that and then the other team decide to have their timeout at the end of the first team's timeout.
Oh, yeah. I've just noticed that one of the refs in the middle, 416, they have a neck fan on. That is forward thinking. I'm loving it.
Well, London's skating one short. Diamond Dodge managed to get out, but Parmageddon doing their best to chase down Diamond Dodge.
They are. It is a fast pack moving. Everybody's sort of on the move.
So
Will that mean that London get some points?
Oh, well, I think at least that pass may have banked Palm at least one. They may have been reset, but I feel they got their hips around at least one opposing blocker.
Ooh, was that an attempted jammer run back there?
I've not seen that in years.
Yeah.
There was a moment earlier today where I thought we were going to see a knee start, as it were. I was that confused. Now, Diamond Dodgers have sort of been finding their line. Almost looks like they're doing like their 5 and 25 laps, if you remember that from your...
Oh, I do. Never speak of it again. God, that was an awful experience. But, you know, sometimes you got to learn to keep going. But, yes. Yeah.
Now, Palmageddon's coming through for their next scoring pass. Did get checked by Wiltshire's pivot, slowing their stride.
Poor Palmageddon, they are really struggling at the moment, but it's having an interesting effect on Wiltshire because Wiltshire, with the slowed down speed, I think Wiltshire are not locking in as hard as they were at the start, which is allowing Palmageddon to just nick through.
Which they just did there.
Which they just did there, yeah, absolutely. So that's added another 4 points to their pot, which is great.
I think London's lollipops have certainly worked for them. Maybe Wiltshire should have bought like a ton of 99s or something to recharge themselves.
Yeah.
Speaking of recharging themselves, obviously we've had the same officials crew for the previous game that we have in this game. You may have seen on the outside, or you can just see in your bottom corner there, Blaster Chief. I secretly hope they own an Xbox gaming console. As much as they've just OPR'd this game and the previous one, it's been quite quick, they will also be playing in the next game for Kent.
That's a pretty hardcore warm-up, isn't it? Like two games OPRing in 45-degree heat.
And regardless of this heat, Emery of the State earned themselves lead jammer status within the first 20 seconds of this jam, and they're already now on their scoring pass. They've completed their scoring pass for the full four.
That was some excellent moves there from 33, Lena Clockyer, who was using Wiltshire's own blockers to push out the jammer.
Almost like I'm going to use you to do what I want.
Yeah. It's bad enough when you get pushed out on the edge, but when it's pushed out from your own team, it's just the worst. Oh, and an absolute denial there again from Lena Clockyer.
That's, I believe, a cut penalty. We lose the coverless fill, which was your jammer for Wiltshire, to the box.
That's actually the first time this whole game that Phil has put on the start, which possibly means that London's relentless blocking is paying off in that Wiltshire are tiring.
Well, it's certainly working because I don't think Emery has slowed their pace. They've just been weaving through. They're currently on 16 points with over 30 seconds left. This moment now is probably the slowest they've been in this jam.
It is.
A good reset by Wiltshire's blockers, pulling Emery back.
And again, it's just like we discussed before. There's a lot of changing around of the blockers. So even though Emery isn't necessarily out the front again, they are still scoring points because those positions keep changing.
Well,
so that 16 points goes up to 20. That is a mammoth score to put on the board. And this, which is what is still a key time and could still be pulled back.
Do you want a cheeky bonus on top of that?
I do.
Near the end of that jam, Phil got a second cut track penalty and is starting in the penalty box.
Frozen.
Giving London an opportunity for their own power jam, and they're probably buzzing off the back of that 20-point prior jam.
Absolutely.
We will, unfortunately, temper their energy with a quick official time out. They're ever so close to breaching their own century there with 96 points on the board. Gosh. And it is also London's highest scoring jam. So again, as I was saying in the previous game I announced, like every jammer seems to say, I'm going to set the bar. I'm going to want to raise it up for my team. Next jammer on, what can you do? What can you bring?
Yeah.
So absolutely no pressure to London right now.
It's going to be a very interesting jam. So we've got the Wiltshire blocker Wiltshire jammer is in the bin, as is a Wiltshire blocker. Battersea have one in the bin, so it's going to be a 3-on-3 start, but a power jam to London.
Has been a very physical game. There's a lot of penalties been spread about.
There really have.
A couple of naughty skaters getting way too many so far.
They are. Reckless is living up to their name as they're currently sat on 6 penalties.
Now let's see if Max can capitalise on that, and they do.
They are out of there. just before, as the 5 seconds was called, Max absolutely disappeared as they took full advantage of bobbing down, make themselves invisible to the blockers.
Only 2 of Wiltshire's blockers currently on track.
Oh, and then there was a bit of a change, and there was only 1. Gosh.
Very briefly.
Ooh.
So that scoring pass that Max has completed has now pushed London over the century mark.
Yep.
So both teams are in the 3 digits now.
Block Nesmunster really giving some hassle there to Phil. Phil not even getting out there to begin this, to get their initial pass completed, meaning that London put 8 on the board to Wiltshire's 0.
We do have a few skaters in the penalty box, so this next lineup will look a bit sparse. Obviously, it looks very sparse at the moment because we only have 1 team on the track.
Oh, 5 seconds is called. There we go. There we go. Talking about some clock management. Trainwreck was stood in the middle there waiting to the absolute last minute before they called the penalty to give everybody maximum time to cool down.
I was about to say, I felt very worried that our refs had been panicky of, oh God, there's no opposing team, and then we're going to have to end the jam, and then we're going to have to award a penalty. Oh.
Yep. Bench penalties are plenty.
But then the bench was like, no, I'm going to call a timeout.
Controlling it. The penalty sheet is filling up quite quickly, isn't there? So we just talked about Reckless. Who else have we got on there? Number 150, Snatch. Snatch is on 5.
Wiltshire's played a little cleaner.
They have.
But in this very intense game, it's that's not saying too much. Unfortunately, we do have Reckless, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Living up to
Is
their
it a little cleaner, or is it just that one person is taking all of the penalties for them? I mean,
it's not the Hunger Games. You don't get penalties in tribute. It doesn't work like that.
No shade to them though. Like I am often that person for our team. Or like, well, you know, is it worth it? Maybe.
And we've seen more than enough instances where, as much as we felt that, like, a slightly lower number of skaters would seem a clear advantage for one team, like it hasn't. They've not been able to take advantage, as it were. Sometimes it's been easier for some of the jammers to get through a full pack than it has a sparse one.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's strange because your brain is expecting to do a certain number of things. When you take out skaters, you're like, well, this isn't quite what I'm used to. It's sort of, you know, in the Princess Bride, and there when Andre the Giant is fighting 3 people, he's like, oh, I'm not used to fighting one person. I'm used to fighting a whole bar. Suddenly I'm very tired because I'm unused to it. But yeah, so very similar in this.
Well, certainly.
Nice little apex jump there from Question Mark to plant themselves firmly in front of Max and managed to draw a cut on Max, was that? Meaning it's a power jam for Swift.
And also means that we've, I believe, lost lead status, so we will be going the full 2, even though we've only got about a minute and change remaining of this jam.
Yeah, it's only a minute.
Well, you say that, but a combination of how intense this game has been and the warmness we keep mentioning, I think a lot of skaters would prefer, can I just get off the track for a bit?
Yeah, this is where they go, can I just take a penalty, just have a little sit down, please?
Can anyone just turn this off? No, we've got no lead. Oh, no.
Yeah, Swift, who has been incredibly swift at this point, is really struggling to push those blockers aside or jump around them, and in fact taking a couple of steps back there just to reset, but unfortunately it's only allowed Snatch and Block Nesmonster to really lock themselves in front.
Now, it looked like with an update that we possibly were, because obviously Swift has been stashing a lot, but they've been sort of on and off with the helmet cover.
Yeah.
So obviously we're still in this power jam status.
We are. Max has been sent back to the bin there as well for a little sit down.
Swift just managed to find a line on the outside edge there on their toe stops. And seems that unfortunately just as they managed to find their rhythm, the jam is naturally ended. It has.
Has that ended in Max being locked into the bin though? There's some wild gesticulation going on between the bench and the bin.
Does look like we will be jammerless for London.
It does.
only for the start of this jam. They're
Only
not gonna,
for the start.
They have fielded one. It's just in the penalty
Yeah,
box.
just in the penalty box. And they're standing, which means there's 10 seconds or less that they're going to be there. But nonetheless, it could be the amount of time that Diamond Dodge needs to punch their way through. Gosh, taking no prisoners here, getting really physical for this initial rush.
Max has been released. They had, unfortunately, accrued 3 separate penalties in that previous jam, hence the big rest they had in the penalty box. Basically spending 3/4 of that jam sat in the penalty box.
Dear.
They are back on track, trying to find a line. Dodge has managed to get themselves lead status.
All of London, though, fully focusing their attentions on stopping Diamond Dodge. It's getting trickier and trickier, though.
It seems Diamond Dodge is running on cat logic of if that gap is wide enough for me to get a foot through, then I can get all of me through. So,
if that fits, hits. Oh, just popped out on the edge there by Snatch.
And we have lost Diamond Dodge due to a back block penalty. So this will be a further 2-minute jam, of which we only have just under 1 minute remaining. Does give Max the opportunity to earn some points that they weren't able to grab in the previous jam, sort of make up the amends.
That's it. Oh, I just spotted the Wiltshire have now gone over the double century.
Wow.
And London are over their first century, which is good. Yeah. Feels quite satisfying.
So we've got just under 9 minutes of play in total remaining. Let's see what London can do with that time left to shorten the current gap between the two of them.
And some excellent play there by London. So they were going in for the group offense, dragged everybody to the outside, and Max was able to sneak through on the inside whilst all the blockers for Wiltshire were focused on defending themselves.
Likewise, Diamond Dodge takes that inside line also, was temporarily left open. If the door's open, why would you not bolt through
it? That's it. It doesn't matter who the gap is made by, you can still take it.
It's a big check at the end there by Over the Painbow to finally slow Diamond Dodge down. A beefy 15 points there, that jam for Wiltshire, but 10 on the board for London, so it's only 5 points difference between the two jammers. Does mean that we're currently at, if I've got that maths right, a 90-point difference.
It is a 90-point difference, yeah, absolutely.
That was good, easy maths, but I still had to think about it. So kids at home, do maths. It does come useful in later life, not just for doing your taxes, but also working out roller derby differentials.
Oh, there we go. Lindsane is through, and they pick up lead jammer.
Nice and smooth. I think he's finding a gap on the inside edge.
Ooh, lovely hit there from 240 max voltage, just clipping them. And like I said, when they're picking up the speed, sometimes it's just those littlest taps that causes the toe stop to go over the edge. And again, Loch Ness Monster is also able to capitalize on that.
So Lindsane caught at the back tripod, but complete reversal, and as Palmageddon is also stuck at the front in a flowing tripod. Finally managed to make themselves cleared through as a little stars back on so they can score now.
They can. Pandemonium 355 released from the burden of needing to be the pivot, absolutely hammering Lindsane. But then immediately sent to the bin for it.
A proper knock, and Lindsane slid almost entirely across the infield there.
That's it. We very nearly saw the final block on the bingo card of ref taken out.
Or if anything, at least most of the infield has nicely been swept by by the Jammers jersey there. So.
Oh, don't the more as people fall and and it's hot and it's humid, the floor must be getting so slick. What was already a difficult, challenging game is just being made.
And I have a bad feeling that even if you tried to be clever and go, I'll get one of those scissor brooms out that Jim Hall's and sweep it up. All you'd be doing would be polishing the floor.
Yep, spreading it out. Yep, no. So so there's a couple of tricks if you've got particularly slippy wheels. Little sort of skater tips is you can use a baby wipe to wipe your wheels, and there's something within that which kind of turns the ick to more grip. which is particularly excellent. Or you can use hairspray, which I think dancers also use.
I just thought most of you skaters were just being really like, I want to keep my wheels clean. I didn't realise you were compensating for slicky floors.
That's it. You're trying to compensate. Something about getting the coefficient of the. I don't know.
Well, London did skate a wee bit short in this jam. Just got their pivot left in the box. Swift did swiftly get out and themselves lead. Emery of the State, though, is digging themselves in like a tick to try to get through that last line of defence at the front. Really fighting that free wall Wiltshire's put up as a last line of defence.
They are. You almost saw them sort of like winding up for the hit there. They just took a step back to punch through. Wiltshire not necessarily falling into that trap, though. Although they do look like they've been separated a little bit, so question mark. My gosh, that was an epic shoulder there to say to the London team, get off me, I'm going to do my thing.
I think now Swift has been unfortunately slowed down.
By their own tripod there, wasn't it?
So that's 5, but Emery did manage to get in a cheeky 2.
Cheeky 2. This has been a really great game.
And I've just realised we've got less than 5 minutes of play left.
No, it's such a shame, isn't it?
Can we have a third half? I know it doesn't work, but and I know nobody would want to do it. But
petition them for another jam. Who do you reckon's been your star player thus far?
I think I've had a real blend of seeing some sort of like good jamming from both teams and good defence, which is exactly what I wanted. I have agreed with you in past that I think every time I've seen Pandemonium on track, they've really been impressive of like being where they needed to be. I think I've also been impressed, especially with some of your reactions to Block Nez Monster. There's been a lot of like, ooh, like secretly thinking you're like, I really don't want to play against you.
Yeah, but it's that double-edged sword. I'm like, but I really do. Because when you see someone who is that much of a powerhouse, you're like, oh, but I wonder if I could stand up to that.
It's like almost test your mettle.
That's it, that's it. So with the whistle blowing on that particular jam, there, like obviously as we were sort of like waxing lyrical about other stuff, we forgot to tell you about everything that was going on. But you saw it, it's fine. But the brief recap is London had their jammer sent to the bin, causing a power jam, and now the jammer is frozen in the box, so it is a power jam start for Wiltshire Roller Derby.
Thing is, the times when Max has been locked in the penalty box, it's usually resulted in Max coming out of the box for that next jam like a rocket.
Absolutely.
And getting points on the board. Like, no pressure, Max, because I've just hyped you up.
That's it. Well, the pressure, so now there's a potential power jam because Bookworm's Revenge has just been sent to the bin.
And all the good footwork to tumble along the inside line.
How did they even manage that? That is ridiculous.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
There you go.
And thankfully, also Max living up to all the hype I provided them.
Absolutely.
Nice little burst of energy on the inside apex there to get through their second scoring pass. So that's
excellent. Bookworm was ready and raring to go for this. Came out of the box there like an absolute rocket, straight into the back of Battersea. Pushing their way through. They seem to have stopped. Was it another penalty? Oh no, it was.
So we had a bit of a passive wall from London there, but they've now decided to concertina in to bring the pack closer together.
That was it. They were pulling it down, ready to see if Wiltshire would set up in a position so they could then sweep them like a tsunami from one side to the other.
That concertina action did unfortunately mean that we've had Max sent to the box.
They were.
And I believe it was for a cut track penalty.
But they've been released at the same time, so maybe they didn't do a cut track penalty.
Yes, now for you at home, just for clarity, we did have obviously a jammer for Wiltshire, but we've just learned with the second penalty at the end in this jam, that does mean the Bookworm's Revenge has fouled out, which is also the reason why Max was released so quickly.
Because there was no other jammer.
Yeah, because obviously we can't put Bookworm back on track because they've fouled out.
Yeah.
We should have had a jammer switcheroo. We just managed to get more Max.
More Max time. Excellent. Well, there you go. Another one for the bingo sheet. Gosh.
Yes. So I suspect we'll have potentially maybe an official timeout just to check all the scores and the doors are right in terms of like whom should be there. Do we need someone in the box for this jam? Do we not? What's going on? How does this work out? There we go. See, this is good. This is what you want, because obviously you always want to make sure you've done everything right with the previous jam.
That's it.
You know, and then you can start the next one right. My word, I've just glanced over at the sort of penalty box sheet that we've got. It's on a wonderful laptop.
There's a lot of red appearing, isn't there?
Yes, that's 5 skaters who have fouled out of this game.
Eek.
So
I wonder if is that the most in playoffs?
Well, that's the most, I think, so far. It's certainly the most in this game. Unfortunately, I may have jinxed it, and we might get another one now. With just under a minute left on the period clock. Obviously, we're going into what will be currently our 17th jam of this half. I've just been informed that this is indeed the most foul outs we've had so far today. So no pressure, our remaining games this afternoon. It's all on you.
Yeah, no, it's not the record to beat, is it? Oh, gosh. Law Renegade absolutely powering through there and calls off the jam with there being less than 30 seconds on the game clock. Now, with some sneaky clock play.
Now, both teams have timeout potentials.
They do.
They can do stuff. It's whether they want to. Obviously, one team will most likely not want to extend this. Another might.
Yeah. It would be quite the ask to make up the 99 points needed in the one jam, but it's not impossible.
What's crazy is we had...
there we go!
What's crazy, we had it exactly 30 seconds. So as our jam timer shouted 5 seconds, we had 5 seconds left of the period clock. So without some sneaky stuff happening, this is the moment, technically our last jam of this game.
That's it. It's all or nothing. We see we've got some falling because these guys are really trying. Everything is going to be put on the line for this last jam. Emery of the State gains lead.
But we've also had a start pass. We lose Swift as your jammer and gain Linsane. And they managed to get through very quickly.
You put your second best jammer up as the pivot. Excellent tacticking.
Now, we've also lost Emery to the penalty box, so we will go the full 2 because we have no lead. Linsane is unopposed.
Beautiful hit there from Lena Clockyer.
Absolutely living up to their name.
One as well.
Probably Linsane's like, oh, thank God. That first one was bad and I didn't get a second.
That's it. The fact that they've still got that energy in there just to absolutely hurl themselves around and balance on those edges is amazing.
I suppose there's a lot of like, if I've got the momentum, I've just got to try to keep it.
Just got to keep going.
Because the second it gets sucked out of me, I've stopped.
A lot of kind of like doing this sort of stuff at speed is very much like Buzz Lightyear. You know, it's about falling with grace and style, and you have to really lean into the fear of falling to pull off some of these moves.
Emery.
Oh gosh, that was a brutal hit there from over the pain bow. Was it legal? Was it not?
Do believe
the refs don't think it was legal.
No, we have lost them to the penalty box for that one. But Emery has managed to sort of whiz through. There was a great pop from her bench that is on the near side to us. So excited to see them getting some more points on the board for London.
That's it. Everybody's just really enthusiastic about an excellent level of roller derby. Oh, we had 33 sent off there, but the penalty box is so full they can't go and have a sit down. They have to return to track.
Well, as much as both of our jammers kind of look like they won't want to go for one more pass, that is it. We are done.
Unofficial score sits at London Battersea Power 1-4-2, Wiltshire Roller Derby 2-4-3. We'll just wait for that to be confirmed. But that was a 12-point jam for both London and Wiltshire.
A great way to end this game this afternoon.
Absolutely. Did we manage any more foul outs with those additional penalties at the end?
Well, if that looks right, I count 6.
Uh-oh.
So someone just managed to go, me too, I'm having one.
I'm joining that party.
Almost the Oprah Winfrey moment of you have a foul out, you have a foul out, everybody have a foul out.
Excellent.
Check under your seat at home if you too have a foul out, you may have won.
And we have it, the final score. It's official. Wiltshire Roller Derby will be going through with their final score of 2-4-3 against London Battersea Powers 1-4-2. What an excellent game.
we've said it a lot, how warm it is, but I am proper exhausted from the game we've watched. We talked a lot, but I don't understand how any of these skaters can still be standing, let alone trying to celebrate with their teammates after today's that game.
Absolutely.
Oh, well.
And the refs as well. Like, gosh, this is their second game, right?
And for one of them, it'll be technically, they'll be about to have their third game because they're going to go play for Kent.
Well, at least they'll be able to put on a nice dry T-shirt.
So yes, that's our fourth game today done in our quarterfinal bracket. The next game we'll have will be kicking off at 5 p.m. Will be Sheffield v Kent. It's our first MRDA game this afternoon.
It is, the Inhuman League up against Kent, isn't it?
That's true, yes.
Fabulous. One of my couple of my teammates in that one, so looking forward to it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on our fourth game this afternoon. I hope you've had as much fun as we did here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for bearing with.
I've been McG.
And I've been Lid Vicious.
Thanks again. Bye now.
Bye now.